How to use VirtualBox full beginner's tutorial. Now, if you've ever wanted to run another operating system on your current computer, whether it's for testing, development, or learning purposes, VirtualBox is one of the best tools to get started with. It's completely free, open source, and works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. In today's tutorial, I'll walk you step by step through how to download, install, and use VirtualBox from scratch. I'm going to be covering up how to set up your first virtual machine, how to install an operating system inside it, and tweak performance settings, and finally, how to use it like an absolute pro. By the end of this video, you'll be confidently running multiple operating systems on your computer without affecting your main setup. So let's begin by understanding what VirtualBox is. Now, developed by Oracle, VirtualBox is a virtualization software that allows you to run an entirely different operating system within your current one. So for example, if you're on Windows, you can run Linux or even Mac as a virtual machine. This is perfect for developers who want to test applications across platforms or for students who want to explore new operating system environments safely. So let's head down to the official website, which is virtualbox.org. And once the page loads, we're simply going to click on download right here. Now you're going to see several versions. Now you're probably wondering which one do we have to download. Now obviously these depend on the different operating systems you're working on. Now in my case, I'm on Windows, so I'm going to click on Windows host. But if you're on Mac, you can go with Mac. If you're on Linux, you can go with this and Solaris for this. So obviously I downloaded the Windows host. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to go ahead and open up the setup. So it's going to bring me to the VirtualBox installer. I'm going to go ahead and open that right up. Now you're going to get a familiar setup wizard. Click next a few times, accept their terms. And right here, they're going to ask you, select the way you want features to be installed. Okay, so you can first of all choose a location for wherever you want your VirtualBox to be downloaded. So let's say I want to go ahead and download it here. Now, once we have done that, what we're going to be doing from here, we're going to click on OK. You click on next. And once this is done, you're simply going to click on yes again. Now, if there is any missing dependency, it will let you know. So in my case, Python core is missing. So once all of that is done, you're simply going to go ahead and, check these boxes according to whatever you want. And once that is done, click on next and click on install. And once you have clicked on install, it basically goes ahead and takes around a minute or two. And once that is done, VirtualBox will be ready. After the download is done, it's going to give you a prompt to launch Oracle. So what we're going to do is we're simply going to click on finish, and this will go ahead and launch Oracle right here. Now, as you can see, Oracle has started up for us. And once you're inside the VirtualBox interface, it's time to create your first virtual machine. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the new button right here. And once you click on the new button, you're going to be prompted to name your machine and select the operating system type and version. So for example, if you're installing Ubuntu, name your VM something like Ubuntu and select the Linux as the type of Ubuntu. So I'm going to go ahead and call it Ubuntu. Then you can go ahead and add a folder for it. So let's say I'm going to go ahead and add it in this folder, and I'm going to be adding it over here. So once that is done, you can give it an ISO image if you want to, but in my case, we have Linux, Ubuntu, and you can choose specific versions for yourself as well. I'm just going to go with the basic 64-bit. And once that is done, what you're going to do is choose how much RAM you want to allocate. Okay, so what's going to happen is right here in the hardware, you can allocate however much RAM you want. A good starting point is, 2 GB or, around 4 GB if you're installing, some heavy software. So I'm going to go with 2 GB over here. And once that is done, here are the hardwares that it uses. And once all of this is done for us, what's going to be happening from here is we're simply going to go ahead and click on finish. Now, once you click on finish, what happens is it will go ahead and start loading in. Do make sure not to allocate too much memory to your VM because you still need enough left for your host machine. So it's time to create a virtual hard disk. So once this all is happening and, the Ubuntu software has started running, what you can do is you can also create your very own virtual hard disk for yourself. Okay. And obviously to do that, what you do is you come over to the tools you go over to preferences, and obviously you can change your hard disks from here if you want to, but relatively starting off from a virtual hard disk is pretty fun and it's pretty easy as well. So as we can see, if we click on start just generally, it starts powering your virtual machine engine up right there and then. It doesn't take a lot of time and it just goes on and on. And just like this, as you can see, it starts loading. Now it says the virtual machine failed to boot. That might be caused by a missing operating system. Now the reason for that is because we have not created the hard disk yet. So to create the hard disk, what you're going to do is you're going to be clicking on create and choose your VDI. Now, where do you find that? Now, in some cases, it might not let you create the VDI. So in that case, what you're going to be doing is you're simply going to go ahead and head over to your browser. And here you can search for Ubuntu ISO. Okay, just search up something like that and you can get different ISO bootable files for yourself. All right. So what you can do is you can just download this to your desktop accordingly. And what's going to happen is, whenever you download an ISO file like this, you can obviously dynamically allocate however much you want the Ubuntu working to actually get into a software like this. Also, another thing is when you're creating something like this, you are going to have to be very sure of using the memory of your system effectively, because if you're not using your NVMe and your RAMs effectively, it might cause to backlash on you. So just keep those things in mind. Just keep your video memory and your general memory that you're allocating it at a limited work. Then moving on, once all of this is done and you worked around the main basic tools of your Ubuntu, what you can basically do on from there is, just add your ISO file right into it. So you come over to this, you click on add, and you add your ISO file. And once all of that is done, what you're simply going to be doing from there is just go ahead, launch Ubuntu, and your virtual machine is going to go ahead. Now, VirtualBox also allows you to take snapshots, essentially saving the current state of your virtual machine. Now, this is very useful before testing something risky like installing new software to take a snapshot. Okay. Now, you can even run multiple VMs at once, but keep in mind your system needs enough RAM and CPU cores to support that. You can pause, power off, or save the state of any VM at any time. Saving state allows you to resume exactly where you left off, even after a reboot. So finally, if you want to install other operating systems, go ahead and use the VirtualBox as I have showed you, and this is basically how you're going to be downloading any other software for yourself. So thank you for watching this video all the way till the end, and I'll be seeing all of you in the next video. Have a great day. Goodbye.